As a disclaimer, nah, I ain't gonna put this all on Luka, because I know Luka has been the subject of scrutiny on why the Lakers have been playing bad as of late. As of now, we just lost three in a row. We lost a tough one to the Phoenix Suns last night. Mind you, these Phoenix Suns were without their two best scorers in both Devin Booker and Dillon Brooks. And while, yeah, the Suns may not have been necessarily killing it this year, they've looked like a really solid basketball team, and they've had similar vibes to those Phoenix Suns teams that made the finals. Obviously, the Phoenix Suns that made the finals were, I believe, the number 2 seed, if I'm not mistaken, and then the year after, they were the overall best team in the NBA with 64 wins. Granted, that Suns team will never come close to what that 2021 and 22 Suns team accomplished, but they have that type of camaraderie and chemistry that those old Suns teams had. Which is kind of interesting because we have one of their old boys in DeAndre Ayton, and right now, I can see why Phoenix got rid of him. Because that bozo, before the game, I think it was like before last night's game, he said something about, the Lakers are trying to make me into like a Clint Capella. Which I'm like, I was talking about with my mom, and we were just like, bruh, you are literally being paid all this money. You should be lucky the Lakers are giving you a contract to play basketball because you weren't the most sought out big in free agency, my boy. So why the heck are you, of all people, DeAndre Ayton, complaining about the role the Lakers are giving you? Do you want to go back to being that 18 and 10 guy you were next to Devin Booker and Chris Paul? My guy, you weren't even good at that. Like, come on, bro. Like, the reason why he looked good on the Suns was because he had Chris Paul and Book. And when he didn't have those guys, he looked like an absolute clown, and he looks like a clown next to two players that are arguably better than Chris. They're arguably better than Book. Now, enough about that bozo waste of a height. I want to get back to the game. This game, we were, again, horrible defensively. Every time JJ Redick goes into a zone, it never works. I just wanted to say that. We went to a zone on that last play where Royce O'Neal got the game-winning three. Luka got blown by. LeBron had to play center, and he had to rotate, but he ended up leaving, or I think because of the fact he had to rotate, which I don't feel like he needed to, it left Royce O'Neal wide open because I think that was supposed to be his guy. I got to watch that play again, but the Lakers were in a zone. So let me just watch the film, and I'll get back to y'all. Yeah, so on that play, Grayson Allen is handling the ball, and Grayson was frying us all night because of the fact, well, none of our guys, especially Bron, AR, and Luka, none of those guys can defend a parked car to save their lives, and it forced guys like Marcus Smart and LaRavia and Vanderbilt to really pick up the slack, but whatever. So Amir Coffey sets the screen for Grayson Allen, and it automatically commands a switch. Good job, they did that. But Luka gets blown by Grayson, and for some reason, LeBron on that play decided to rotate to Colin Gillespie, which again, I believe that was supposed to be a zone because LeBron and AR decided to switch. But because LeBron rotated for God knows what reason, and okay, let's put it this way. LeBron rotated, fine. Smart or LaRavia should have been the ones rotating to Royce O'Neal, which it left Austin Reeves leaving or having to guard two people, so he had to guard Colin in the corner. Royce was open for three, and Royce hits the game winner. And one of the things that really irked me about this game was this is probably one of our bigger games of the season because of the fact the Lakers and Suns have the same amount of wins, but the Suns are one game away from overtaking us for that number 6 spot. For some context, if we had to get into the 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th spot, which if the Lakers keep on playing bad, the worst case scenario is we fall to number 8 in the standings, and I still won't love that for us because say we get out of that play-in tourney, we would have to face the Oklahoma City Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs, which I don't know if I talked about in my last video. If I didn't, I'm going to talk about it here. If we have to end up facing those teams, it's not going to be good because I feel like those teams are going to 5-game us, but I'm going to try to be positive and say, Lakers, just play hard and at least force a game 6, and I won't be too mad. Which I have a feeling that none of those things will happen, and the Spurs and Thunder, whoever we face in the first round, are going to look at us like lunch, and more than likely, they're going to blow the doors off us in almost every single last bit of those playoff games because OKC is looking to repeat, and their bench gets better, especially with Jared McCain coming into that mix. And then we obviously know Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs have been on a crazy hot streak, winning 11 of their last, well, they're 11-0. They've been undefeated in their last 11 games. And I know I kind of touched on it a bit in my last video, but I'm going to touch on it again here. One of the things that needs to happen, and it's probably not going to happen, is that we need to be better defensively. And it starts with our leader, Luka Doncic. Luka, and I've said this dating back to his Mavs days, one of the things I never liked about Luka is his constant berating to the officials. Like, all right, man, look, you didn't get a call to go your way. Get the hell back on defense so we won't have to cover for your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of the things that frustrates me about him is that he's just so gifted offensively, but he is defensively deficient too. And when you put him in a lineup with guys like with guys like AR and Bron, that is a defensive nightmare. Because again, none of those guys guard a parked car. Look, I know Bron is 41 and all that. I get it. But still, it's just that, man, he cannot be out on the floor with Luka and AR at the same time for an extended period of time, because Scap Attack, and I'm not the biggest Scap Attack guy, but I watched one of his videos this morning. Whenever those three are out there with guys like Rui Hachimura and DeAndre Ayton, our net rating is negative 239.5 or something like that. Meanwhile, with guys like Luka and AR, with guys like Smart, I think it's Laravia and DA, or Hayes, I think that he pointed out, our net rating is negative 5.5. That's a big difference. You know what I'm saying? So one of the things is just that, look, I love LeBron, but it's time for him to go. DeAndre Ayton needs to get the hell off my team. Stat, because he doesn't fit the Laker mold at all. And then Luka, he has to be a much better leader. There is so many things wrong with this team, bro, that it's not even funny anymore. It's just absolutely sad on how much, oh gosh, it's just sad on how much there is so many things wrong with this team. And it sucks because going into the season, like in the first part, I want to say like 20-ish games in the year, we look like a solid team. And I even made a video talking about the Anthony Davis injury, and I said that, you know what, yeah, the Mavericks really screwed up on the AD Luka trade, and I still think they did. But now a lot of people are saying that things like this bad stretch that the Lakers are on is why the Mavericks got rid of Luka. I don't necessarily agree with that, because that was still classless on the part of Nico Harrison. But again, at this rate, Luka's irredeemable quality is complaining to the official as a way to not get back on defense. And Dreamers Pro pointed this out too. Luka scores the ball with the intent of drawing a foul. He doesn't score the ball with the sake of scoring the ball. And people like SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, has gotten a lot of blowback for this during the year, because he essentially does the same thing. But the only difference is Shai at least has the heart to get back on defense and not complain on every play. And Shai is a walking 30 ball with or without the free throws. I don't know how people correlate SGA and free throws, because look, he's going to get free throws no matter what. He's still going to cook your favorite team with 30. Luka can do that as well, but he is a worse foul bearer than SGA. And I'm saying this as someone who's always loved Luka, who remains a Luka fan in spite of his shortcomings and deficiencies. You know what I'm saying? So one of the things, bro, is that the Lakers, all in all, we're just not a good team, and things are only going to get worse, especially with how we are playing. Because again, if we end up falling into the play-in tournament, yeah, we'll win one of those games. I believe if it's the 7th-8th game, or the 7-8 seeded game against the Golden State Warriors, I believe we win that matchup. But what good is that? Because we have to face San Antonio or OKC anyway if we do drop that game. So what good is that going to be? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. It's just really ugly for us right now. And before I let y'all go, I read this article on the Sporting News, which is kind of very alarming to how bad the Lakers are becoming, or how overrated they are, or whatever. They talk about this abysmal stat, which is going to haunt the Lakers for the rest of the year going into the playoffs. So I'm going to read a sample from this article, and then I'll explain my thoughts, and then I'll let y'all go. In the 3-point loss to the Suns, one of the Lakers' biggest weaknesses came to light once again. It wasn't their defense, which I don't know about that one. I disagree. It was their defense. That's one of their bigger weaknesses, especially since December 1st, which, again, shout out Scap Attack. He pointed this statistic out. Since December 1st, we are 19-20. We are a game below 500 in our last 39 games. But let's continue with the article. Head coach JJ Redick continues to get minimal production from his bench due to the nature of LA's small rotation. The Lakers scored just 25 points off the bench in Thursday's game as opposed to 56 for the Suns. I believe that. In the third quarter alone, the Suns bench outscored the Lakers 31-0. And JJ played 10 players in total, but really it was an 8-man rotation with 2 players in Jared Vanderbilt, and Maxi Kleber not playing much. So it was essentially an 8-man rotation. Again, I just saw the box score. I'm not surprised with that. As a team, they are tied for last in bench points per game, averaging 28.9. Whereas for some context, the top 3 teams in the NBA, and I'm paraphrasing the article, by the way, the Pistons, the Thunder, and the San Antonio Spurs all ranked in the top 10, averaging no fewer than 40.5 points off the bench. So y'all get where I'm going with this. The Lakers are not a good defensive team. Our bench freaking sucks because we don't have a solid scorer. I thought Luke Kennard was going to help us out with that, and I still believe he can, but Luke Kennard cannot be the main guy off the bench, which is why I want the Lakers to trade Gabe Vincent and Jake LaRavia for someone like Benedict Mathurin, who is tearing it on the Clippers. Granted, Ben did not have a great game against the Minnesota T-Wolves last night, but that game was more so attributed to how much the Clippers were turning the ball over against Ant-Man and the Wolves. But still, Mathurin has been killing it in his, I know it's a small sample size, but he's been killing it in his first 6 games as an LA Clipper, which is, again, one of the reasons why I wanted the Lakers to get him, because he adds another dynamic, and he's that type of third option the Lakers need. And Luka thrives with players like Ben Mathurin because he played with guys like PJ Washington in Dallas, and he played with a bit of Najee Marshall before he got traded. You know what I'm saying? So Kennard is good. I hope we keep him. I do think we should keep Luka, even though a lot of people said if we could get guys like SGA or Anthony Edwards, then they would do it. Dreamers Pro said that a bunch of times as of late. But even still, I would keep those 2 because I do think Luke and Luka play well off each other. Everyone else is expendable. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that we need to do this offseason, again, I have a video made for the offseason, is that we need to get tough 3-and-D guys and a solid big not named DeAndre Ayton. So, I don't know, man. The Lakers are looking terrible, and it's not going to get any better. And we're just going to have to settle for this for the rest of the year, man. Like, between DA whining about how much he's not being utilized as a center, and then Luka crying to the officials, and then LeBron looking more and more washed every single day. And, you know, he is also a reason why we've been losing a lot of games too. And I'm saying this as a Bron fan. But I don't know, man. What do you guys think? Do you think the Lakers will get better? Or do you think they'll get worse? How do you guys think we'll fare in the playoffs? I don't know. Sound off in the comments. That's the end of this video. I'm X. Deuces.